Good
Good
morning.
morning. Hi. I was just sitting here. I got the Zoom. It's recording. I was sitting here waiting. I was like, duh, I didn't send the link.
No,
I'm glad you said something.
okay. Yeah, I was just letting you know I'm good to go. So
Yeah, good. I actually felt I put a little makeup on today. I was like, wow. I
how,
had
how how's the red light doing?
it very good. It's actually healing. It's funny you asked that because just 10 minutes ago I had this realization. Because I was sitting here, my eyes were really dry this morning. I put lotion on and then it peels and then it dries and then the lotion. So it's like this little cycle for the past hour and a half. And I wanted to get it cleared up so I wouldn't be messing with it when I was with you. And so I'm sitting there with, tweezers in my mirror and I'm peeling the skin off my eyes, and it's something that I've said to Chris from time to time. I said, just give me, he'll say, come here and check this out or something. And I'll say, just give me a minute, I'm just peeling the skin off my eyes. And I clicked on, oh my God, that's what Lizzie, her new name is Livy, did. She peeled skin off of people. And so I was sitting there thinking about that, and I thought, well, this started in 2007 when I started listening to Alan. And as I learned more and more, it got worse and worse, but then it got better and better because I beefed up my immune system and stuff. And it just suddenly, she finally like revealed, remember, she goes, yeah, back then as I was doing that, I used to think I wish I could peel the skin off my eyes so I wouldn't have to see this. So if I could just peel it off my eyes. And I was like, oh my God. So I just hurried up and wrote that down in my journal. And
Wow, so vending will take that.
well,
There we
and I
go.
started doing that with my eyes.
There
Why
we go.
messing with my eyes? So I was like, ah.
Wow,
I'm
Diana,
like finally near the end, I feel like with my eyes. I mean, it's the best it's ever been for
it's
what,
going to
eight
channel up
years.
isn't that the body? Isn't that amazing? The mind
It
body
is. Well, and I remembered that little curse that my grandma put on me when she wiped stuff on my eyes and said, "You will not see what you see, and you will not, whatever." And so I jotted it down. I'll pull
Have
that
you
out.
whacked the face? Whacked her for that?
My grandma, or just
Absolutely.
I've worked on the eyes, but it never hit me till today. Let me
I'd
share.
beat the hell out of her
Okay.
with that phrase. I'm so intense.
I will.
But really, and start with maybe how dare you? And
Yeah, yeah,
I'll show you. I'll
I
give you
definitely
something.
will. Let me
Oh
write
yeah.
that down,
Just
grandma.
go to town on grandma.
I
It's a lot,
have a
right?
I have a list I take out there with me now of
There you
people.
go. And my words, the stuff you sent to me. So if we can go over that as well.
I got
Unbelievable,
two
Diana.
TEDs and I've got three journals, and I guess we'll start with the journals.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
But just 5 minutes ago, I'm like, oh my God, I'm remembering all this.
Okay, here it is.
Okay, so let me do these in order. So, so yeah, I kept thinking about that door being open since you and I
Okay,
talked
yeah,
about
let's talk about the unbelievable.
how you said that I should get security and talk to Chris. And I kept thinking, I don't need to do either one of those. And I kept thinking, well, why? Why? It was just playing in my mind for like a whole week. So I kept thinking about the door being open, not wanting to tell Chris about it. And I've had this image flash through my mind quite a few times. It's like I didn't want to accept it, but it was there. It's of me standing naked in that open doorway, or perhaps just in my underwear. And I don't know why. If I did do that, why would I do that? To show them that I'm fully exposed and vulnerable somehow in their face? So technically, it would be facing the way that I imagine a satellite would observe our house. It's the same location where that letter C was burned into the grass, facing the southern satellite view. Was that my way of somehow giving the satellite the middle finger? What a way to do it. So it crossed my mind that when John told me we should get security cameras, that I thought it wasn't necessary. It's not about the money or any of that, but just that I knew it wasn't necessary. That somehow I knew I opened that door. So I'm asking myself if I did do that, was it because I was given some sort of signal? Did someone call me on the phone? Or, I'm like, oh my God, was I being triggered or what? So I keep asking myself, was there somebody there? And there wasn't. I don't see anyone there. But I do see myself standing there. I waited for Chris to be snoring. I turned the light off because we have this light that goes on with the sunset, so it's always on. And when the sun rises, it goes off on it. So I don't really ever have to touch that switch.
Yeah.
But I knew that I needed to turn it off because I didn't want to be standing there under this bright light. Then I had opened the door very quietly and stood in the alcove and took my robe off and just stood there. Was I hot and needed to cool off? And if that was the case, why would I do that? I don't think it was about being hot. And the reason I thought that was because when I take Dixie out in the middle of the night, occasionally, she generally doesn't need to go out, but I'll be out there and it'll be warm. So I'm in the backyard with a 6-foot fence. So I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, I was thinking it was about defying the powers that be, standing there completely naked and vulnerable. And I wasn't. I had underwear. I remember that now. What part would do that? And I thought it would be very defiant. It would be confrontational. It would be fearless. And then it crossed my mind that I was daring it. And I was like, well, what's that about? So time passes. And then I realized it was spirit. That like spirit's telling me God wanted you to know, wanted to express his defiance of evil and fearlessness through my part so I could know him that way. That's why I didn't want to tell Chris, because I knew I was perfectly safe.
I
That's
got
why
you.
I didn't think we needed a security system, because I know I'm safe and protected. Wow. But when I prayed tonight, I asked God if we could not do that display again.
Ah,
And spirit agreed. So I was like, it's a one-time deal.
okay, that's funny.
So I think that was more anyway, it was morning or night. Yeah, that was morning. So time passed and I'm going to bed here. So I had an image of a small child, and Jack's new name is Jasper. So I just had an image of a small child being strangled by an adult. I believe it was Jack strangling a child for us to see, to keep us in line. Sarge, is telling me, no, it was Jack, but not at Camp David. It was at training camp. That's when I split off into Joker, whose name is Jason now. It was quite brutal. Jack lifted the boy up to his chest, and the boy was kicking his feet until he died. And then he just dangled there and continued to hold his body up. This child must have been like 3, and turned to show us all just how easy it is. So I'm going back. This is the image. The boy's head was barely as tall as Jack's hip. Jack had him look up at him. And when he did, Jack wrapped a wire around his throat and lifted him up. He struggled quite a bit and kicked his feet and swung his arms until he died. Jack held him up for quite a while, showing us. Then he just tossed the body to the side like it was trash. The dogs ate the boy. They loved those dogs anyway. He was teaching us how to do it. He showed us the cloth. It was like a piece of cloth about that wide that he used, had a wire inside of it. He said we would be using something just like it. I kept screaming in my head, I don't want to do it. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. But ultimately I did. And ultimately Joker did quite a few times.
For
I
sure.
just realized that before I had this memory, I was feeling hungry. It's midnight and I was having a conversation with Oscar, who is hot dog. Think about that, Oscar Mayer hot dog.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. He's got a funny sense of humor.
Yeah, that there's no reason that we should be hungry because we had quite a bit of dinner and a big dessert. We just laid here. I was like, no, we're not going to go eat. You're not hungry. You think you are, but you're not. Then the memories. So the food does stuff down the memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I thought if I had gotten up and eaten, it would have completely changed my mental atmosphere. You
That
know what
would
I mean?
that would
And then I guess more time passed. This is in the evening at night. My thumbs are so sore I can barely lift a plate. Oh, this is afternoon, I guess. All day. Chris is here so I don't do Ted. I did yesterday and told him I was going to beat on Ted. I went out and also yelled. When I came back in, he said I scared him and the dog with that blood-curdling yell. That was what he said. Now, this is from a fucking, and he's like, it was gut.
Okay, really?
Yeah. I said I warned him. I said I'm going out there, but he still went on about how Dixie jumped off the couch and hid under his legs. That blood-curdling yell. He had the front door open and heard it from the outside in, not through the house, but through the outside. He said he was glad he warned the
Okay,
neighbors
okay.
that Dixie must get nervous every time I do it. I told him Dixie's fine. She goes to another room. And afterwards I pet her so she knows it's okay and she's always fine.
Oh, Chris disagrees, does he? What,
Well,
you're not
he
supposed to,
told me that he jumped too.
what, you're not supposed to do venting?
Well, no, he disagrees that Dixie is okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it's good.
I know.
You're going to be better for Dixie in the long run.
Yeah, and Dixie is fine when I
Yeah,
come
of
back in.
course he
She's
is.
usually
Yeah.
laying on the couch just
Now
waiting.
he's uncomfortable with it. That
Yeah, yeah,
right.
but I didn't say that to
Sure.
him.
He's uncomfortable with you doing the guttural yell.
Yeah, because now I have to back off with it. I
You
wish
can
he
do it
could
without any
understand.
having to take drug-induced stuff that's hanging around your neck.
Right, right. Um, I told him about my knee and he doesn't believe it had helped it. So now I don't feel comfortable. I
What
know, right?
what proof does he want?
Well, he is here and I have to wait. My
Yeah,
neck is jacked up too. So
huh?
I was like, okay, it's Chris that has a problem with it. Because,
100%, right?
well, now
Because
granted, Dixie doesn't stick around while I'm working in there. She'll go out with me. And when I pick up the bat, that's when she'll walk away. She doesn't run or scamper or whimper. She just
yeah,
walks away. Anyway, so then
it's
later
beautiful,
that
Diana,
night.
because as you're doing this and getting healed, it's getting closer to home because there's a part of him that knows he
But
needs to do it.
yeah, or maybe he did that, gut wrenching, whatever he said.
But he still needs it. He still needs to get it out. And so he's
I
afraid,
agree with you.
right?
Yeah,
He's afraid to get close to those emotions. So you're showing him the benefit.
I know. I know.
So, wow.
Here's Jasper, who is Jack, and when we were at the Queen. So lying down to take a nap, I just saw the image of a huge skyscraper. I thought it was the Chrysler building, but then it was more circular and had a disc-shaped floor or elevator that moved up around to the top. I looked online. It is the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada. The image I had was looking at it as though I was flying around it, like from the top, not from the top down, but a downward look. In a helicopter, I think. It is right by the theater where the Queen was. Jack had taken us on a bit of a sightseeing tour. The building was under construction, not finished until 76. The pod was constructed in 75. All I saw was a disc sort of shape and flat, not a pod. The timing is perfect. So let me show you those pictures.
Yeah. And Diana, when you said that Jack was, can you remember him in the helicopter? I mean, you remember flying?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
here, let me move this around. Here's the building because it was considered when it was built, it became the tallest building in the world at that time because I did a Wikipedia on it.
Yeah.
And where's the other ones? There they are. Now this imagine this is the view looking from the bottom up, but this was the same view I had from looking from the top down. I could
Yeah.
see the spire, and the pod was built this is like an observation deck where people go and pay money to look at the city. So this was the view I had just in reverse. I couldn't find one in reverse. And then here, look at it. Here's where the CN Tower is. Here's Hamilton, where that mafia headquarters for the US is. And this is where the theater where the Queen was. It makes a triangle. So I thought that was fascinating. When I found the location and I pulled back because it always zooms in, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because first I saw Hamilton, and then I went, "Oh my God, that's right where the theater was with the Queen." So I wonder if when we left, it wasn't in a helicopter, or maybe I saw it coming back from Camp David. I don't know, but Jack felt the need to have us go by this, maybe because it was about to be opened in the next few months or a year, and thought, okay, we'll give you a little treat, let me show you the power that I have, kind of thing, or
Okay.
the privileges that I have. But I was blown away when I was like, oh my God, the theater's right there. So I mean, what would that take? 5 minutes to fly in a helicopter over there and then go back home?
That's right.
So I just thought that was fascinating. Um,
So fascinating. I'm all getting agitated.
well, well, I guess because I
No, that's right.
discover it
Right.
without,
I know. I'm always
I
thinking about
see it before I know it's real. I kept thinking this must be a
it's
building.
phenomenal, right? It's absolutely phenomenal
Yeah.
to think this was all inside you, all the memories and so, right? And they were stuffed down and you didn't have any recollection, but now it's coming up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so now here is the next night I'm laying down to go to bed. I was just thinking about videos and some different topics
You
I
know,
wanted
what's interesting, Diana, by the way, is this is a high satanic celebration time. And
right
look what
now.
happened at the Olympics.
Oh, I know. Don't even get me started on
But
that.
it really is. Are you aware of the date on the satanic calendar?
I
It's
know there was, well, no, I'm not actually. I'm sure it's probably summer solstice just passed and
July 27th, grand climax. Clock
really?
1 day after summer solstice to mirror oral, anal, vaginal human sacrifice,
Oh
female
my goodness.
adult.
And that
On
was July 27th?
July 25th, St. James Day, gathering of herbs. Now look at that. Oh, and July 20th through the 26th. Look, they don't give anybody any
Well,
break.
do you know when I went out there with Spirit at the front door was exactly a week after that demon came to my house.
Oh.
And it was the night of the full moon. I'll read that to you in my next journal entry.
Okay, let me give the whole, so July 20th through the 26th, but then it adds the 27th. So we got an entire week.
Yeah.
So this one says abduction, ceremonial preparation, and holding of sacrificial for grand climax. Grand climax is then at the end of that week, 27th. And that ceremony at the Olympics, what day was that?
That was Saturday, right? Which would have been the 27th.
There we go.
And do you know that that was the 33rd Olympics?
Oh, is that right?
Yes, Melissa did a talk on that. I watched her Sunday night talk
Um,
last night, and she goes, "It was the 33rd
so
Olympic
they're going to
Games."
do it upright. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my
So
gosh!"
they mock the Last Supper. They have the perps there with the kids. They do the Bacchanalian feast or whatever you
And
call
the head chopped off. Did you see that part? The Marie Antoinette.
it.
They
Oh,
had,
was that also from it? I saw a picture. I didn't. I
but John,
watched.
that's just not it. They had the whole castle there, right? And some of the windows had not balconies, but like cement platform balconies they had a band on this, one band member with a guitar, one with a drum set, you know, 5 members or 6, however many there was on, spread out over this castle on these platforms, doing a song, playing a song for the audience, but in the windows behind them and all the other windows was this image of a woman in a red dress with her head chopped off, holding the head in her arms. So there must have been 30 or 40 of these windows filled up with the same image, not even an image, an actual person in costume with a chopped off head with the arm, with the head tucked in the arm. Let me see if I can find that. I was blown away when I saw that because one of my
I think you ought to do a talk on that.
Olympic Games opening
it's as you said,
castle.
I can't see anything anymore without,
I know,
but that's what they count on, right? Us people that haven't been through all this. And
but
we just,
it's really creepy.
it's
See,
freaks.
okay, see here, here's the castle. You can see this, right?
I'm a
Let me zoom
therapist.
in on it.
I'm a therapist that's awakening to all this crap.
It's oh, see, they're not showing it there.
I want to
I'll just make this larger.
debate the false memory syndrome people. I made a challenge to that loft.
Look at it, see?
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it says I'm sharing.
No, I'm not.
Well, hell, I'll stop share
You're running well.
and let me share again.
Oh, there we go. Oh, you're good.
Okay. Here's the cast. Oh, shoot.
And what's all the red stuff coming down? That's blood.
That is, well, yeah, but do you see all of these? So they're not showing the whole thing. Let me pull back out.
Was that a fake castle or was this held at
No, it
someplace?
was a real castle
So they held it.
in Paris. Yeah. Why is
They
this?
held this someplace with a real castle, and that's what's going on with that castle.
Yeah, this image here, right? See how the band members, why is my thing not? So you get the band members out on these platforms and you've got this image in the window. But if you look at the whole thing, there's one in almost every window. And if you pull back, why is my thing not? It
And
obviously they don't
you know
want you to
what?
see
Then
it.
Guess what goes on in that castle?
Right. Okay, here. Why? It's not letting me scroll now. But if you get a chance, look at this thing. And it was, yeah, it's
Look
gosh.
at that blood
darn
squirting.
it.
That's the whole thing. It's just all blood coming out of the chimneys or those little stacks. Look at that thing.
Yeah, I mean it's they're just lined up. And it's all this image right here in the window, except like 50 of them. Not in every window, but in a lot of them. And I thought, what pattern is that making? And I couldn't figure it out. I think it was making a pattern.
Uh,
This is pissing me off because it won't let me scroll. Anyhow, yeah, if you get a chance to
and
see it,
once it goes straight down, Diana, go straight down for a moment.
I
Where's your
can't. It might think my mouse won't roll.
look at the Olympic rings, and we've got the Masonic thing right there.
Oh, that one? Oh, yeah, I didn't even
Look
notice
at that
that.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
What's that? Were those the lights? So they've got the Masonic thing, right?
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's the Eiffel Tower behind there.
It looks like the Masonic thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's just right in our face. I'm gonna ignore that.
That's what it was. It's like the Masonic thing right there.
Yeah, that's the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. Just disgusting, these people. Anyway. Um,
Oh gosh. Okay.
okay. So
Oh, I need a drink.
I'm having a cigarette.
Yeah.
So I'm laying down to go to bed, just thinking about the videos, different topics, and suddenly I had the image of myself plunging the sword into the back of someone's neck, down
That,
into their heart, right? Like through here.
you think that's why your neck hurts?
I'm pretty sure because I kept thinking, God, it feels like daggers in my neck.
Okay.
All day long, I've been having lots of pain in the back of my head. Also, my thumbs have been hurting as well. I think that part is Barry, although it's possible that Jonah, who is the new name for the new part, I can't even remember his first name anymore because everybody picked a new name this weekend. Everybody.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's huge progress.
Oh, what is it? Fatima and
We only have 150 of them. Why
anyway, I know Jonah. I'm happy that I remember his first name.
he'll give that to you. He'll give
Yeah,
that to
he was the one with the machete and the horse at Camp
you.
David.
Oh,
But Jonah uses machetes, something, and it couldn't be him. Barry uses a long knife. Barry is confirming that yes, that was him. That was one of the ways he killed children in the castle. See, now my mouse is scrolling.
okay. Now let's go back to in the castle, meaning.
Himmler's castle.
Oh.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden I'm hungry again. So I'm laying there going, okay, something's got to be coming up because I'm getting hungry. So then a few minutes later, Barry decapitated, disemboweled, and killed in any way they chose. Sometimes he was instructed by the symbol on the child's back. Sometimes he was commanded just to kill. He did so, and it wasn't with a word. They'd point at someone, and he knew that meant take care of them. And if the child had a symbol, he knew which way to do it. So he did so. It was his purpose to do so as quickly and as swiftly as possible. He felt that it was better for that person to die quickly than to suffer these abuses and inhumanities, better to be with God.
And that's key to your healing. To
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
right?
He's letting me know. He did what he had to do, but he was disgusted. He
That
was
is
never an ally with them, except
never a willing participant. Never a
yeah.
willing participant. That's right. That's right.
He felt that he saved those children by killing them.
You
The
did actually.
disemboweling made them suffer. He preferred to decapitate or go straight for the heart. The quick kill was his goal. It was distasteful. I corrected this in my to
No,
him
that's
to make them suffer. It upset him. He always preferred the quick kill. So now we went into a cascade of parts. I'm having the parts puddle, and so they're all chiming in.
this is great.
Joker did not have that luxury. Joker had to choke them out and hold it while they fought and fought until eventually their struggles subsided. Even then, he had to hold it longer to make sure they were dead. Plus, he had to kill full-grown men. He had the advantage, yes, but the work was very difficult. Now, think about this. Joker is like a 7-year-old girl having the advantage. I was like, what? I think because by then they had tied the victim's arms up thinking that they were going to be having sex and bondage sex, but then Joker would kill them. It's like, are you
Has
kidding?
Joker been venting about this?
Yes, yeah, he did today. So Finn, that's the one who would cut throats on the stage, would always go for the quick kill as well. Swift blow across the neck and that was it. Sometimes he was commanded to just cut someone up, meaning slice them up. He never likes that. They had to suffer and bleed out. The terror of the next cut and the next cut. It was always distasteful to him. Donna says Donna was the one who had to drown people. Donna said, well, there's nothing quick about drowning at all, and there is no tool. So these are like all the killers chiming in. Just
Mhm.
your hands and brute force. The thing she thought was upsetting when she was commanded to take someone just to the edge and then bring them back and push them back down to the edge and bring them back. So disturbing. Eliza was the guillotine.
Can I ask about
Yeah.
Donna,
Yeah.
does she know when she would bring them back up? Did somebody tell her? Was somebody overseeing this, saying, like that's enough, bring them up?
I think when she was first trained, yeah.
Because that's also
Well,
obviously
now remember, she did both kinds. She did sacrifices where people were just killed. So they were basically being, drowned and brought up and drowned until they eventually just died. But if it was a child of an elite, they did that so as to activate their psychic
there
ability.
you go. That's what I was thinking. So
Yeah, so
they knew
there
how
was two
long.
kinds. Yeah, and
So
also
did she?
about that
I'm sorry, keep going.
also about that is I think there may have been guidance, yeah, someone overseeing when it was an elite child, a child of one of the elite that they were training. But I think if it was just to torture and sacrifice, then there was not. They were just like, do your thing, kill them, drown them. And, the audience would say, bring them back up. And I would, and they'd be gasping, put them back down, dunk them down, dunk them
You
down.
remember hearing that?
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what audience?
That was, my first thought was Canada, but, maybe it was in Canada and Milwaukee. It was the Elite Homes in Milwaukee
Uh,
by the School Sisters of Notre Dame. But maybe I also did that in Canada because that was my first thought.
yeah.
And I don't like to disregard my first impression.
Good for you. Good for you.
So yeah, that I for the elite children, it was about giving them some, because that's what was happened to Blue as a baby. She was drowned in the blood till she was almost dead, and then they brought her back.
Yeah,
And
so
that was her.
they're having kids cause splitting on other kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Eliza says, at least when you were done, you had a butcher take care of everything. I had to chop off heads and be the butcher. Nothing fun or pretty about body parts all over the place. The body is just another piece of meat. That is beyond disturbing. Patty was the one that smashed things. Says, well, think about taking a human and smashing it to death. It's pieces of body parts and blood flying all over the place, all so that we could tenderize their meat for them. So depraved, so disgusting. Lance says he knows he did not have to kill anyone. Think about being nothing but rage, rage all the time, only rage. That's all I am is rage. It burns hot. It's irrational. It strikes out in any direction at any time commanded. Rage, 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 rage. It is the fire that fuels all death. Lance says he is tired. So the last two times I did Ted, Lance had his turn. He
Yeah,
has not touched it until these past two times.
there you go. Because, and that's a perfect description. You did a wonderful job, right? But so it burns hot, meaning he's mad as hell. It's irrational. It's actually not irrational, but it feels that way, right? And so you may have already, it strikes out in any direction. So the moment it can become laser focused, now
Mhm.
it's getting the perps.
Right. And once it got laser focused,
There
I'd
you go.
split off into the part that needed to do the job. So he's like, I know I didn't have to kill anybody, but I had to rev you up, basically. So Winnie is Wolf, says, think about running through the forest naked and barefoot at night. Incredibly terrifying. Animals on your heels all the time. I'm caged and starving all the time. Watching rats run around and trying to catch them for food to eat. If not chased by animals, then having to be one yourself. Such humiliation, so degrading. Claire says to think about a gift given to you by God that you have to use to trap and torture others. Your own mind is used against you, which we all understand, she says.
Can I go back, Winnie? Do you
Yeah,
remember where?
that was at the School Sisters of Notre Dame,
Okay,
where
yeah.
they would take us out into a nearby forest and have hunting things like Carrie Elahe talks about.
But were the caged? Starving all the time,
That
watching.
one's, I believe, at School Sisters of Notre Dame, but she's telling me right now that no, there was another location out in the forest.
Oh,
It's funny because this is the dress that Wolf Winnie likes to wear. Because it's an animal print, even though it's a cat.
oh, okay,
It's an
okay.
animal print, yeah. Jewel, now this is Kitten's new name, which I love. Jewel, she's the Jewel. Says, how about being nothing except a set of holes for someone to stick something in? To have every hole of your body plugged up or filled with such violence. Just a receptacle, an object, no human being here, just a hole. Poppy and Sage, this is Pins and Stretch. These are their new names. Are you writing this down? I'm
No,
going to send you
I'm
an Excel
dissociating in
document with all the old and new names.
okay, that's perfect. Now I'm dissociating in my own right. I'm just keep going. You're doing fine. I kind of skimmed this knowing we were going to talk about it, but
Oh,
so
yeah.
taking it in and
Yeah.
it's funny. I've got such rage against perps. So
Yeah.
it's all good, right? It's just
Yeah. So they say they understand the object thing. That's all they were, was a plaything, something for somebody else to tinker with and stick things into, to drug and deceive and confuse. Sanity always eluding you. Every time you think you grabbed onto it, it slips away.
yeah.
Every time you think you know something, you're wrong. A constant mind fuck all the time.
That's
And
it. Oh,
nothing but pain, 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 confusion, pain and confusion. Oscar just wants to eat.
yeah.
Juliet just wants to smoke. Laura is just not there at all.
Oh, okay. Talk to me about that.
Laura's the one, she was Lonnie, the lonely girl in the basement that Dad tied up while my sisters are playing on the other side of the curtain.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
he's punishing me, I
Yeah.
think, for some and electrocuting me. And they pop their head around the curtain, and Dad says, "Go back and play."
Has she had a
But
chance then?
she's on my list. Lance has kind of been going
Okay,
crazy.
that's fine. Yep. But
She,
that'll be good for
I
her
made
to.
a list of like 15 or 20 people
Okay,
that
there you go. There you go.
because I couldn't, I'm always my go-to is Trip and this and that. And I was like, no, I need some new go-tos. So we'll work on those for about a month and move on from
Oh, oh, oh. Right, it's good. Good for you. Good for
So
you.
this is me. I just got up and had a small bag of potato chips, and now I'm having a cigarette because Chris was up and I had heard him get up and have a bag of potato chips, and I'd been hungry for like an hour. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have one.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
that's
I
right.
thought, okay, all the killers just had their say.
After this, you earn right. You earned a bag of potato chips and something. And
Well,
Remy, and
and it was also 7 hours since I had eaten, so I'm like,
okay.
okay,
But what's interesting about w- think about what's going on in the body. When we're angry, we're typically going to go for something that is crunchy because we're jumping to
oh right, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That was my go-to for years.
There we go.
Potato chips and soda, potato chips and soda. But now my afternoon snack is a fruit smoothie and chips. So it's
Yeah,
sweet.
well, there you go.
But sometimes I'll have pistachios.
That all right. It's
Because it's
still
healthier, but you're still crunching.
they're
Yeah.
made at conferences. That's right. That's right.
So I lay back down again. Juliet says, imagine having to communicate all this shit, relay all that insanity. That was Siggy, the communications director. Lily, the file cabinet, is talking about having to store every last bit of information all the time.
Great, bless her heart.
Every
Oh,
last bit of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let her know I right. I am. Oh gosh, she's doing a
Yeah.
wonderful job.
Yeah. And Tanya, who
Yeah,
was Trish, has to be a bitch and keep everybody locked up. She was the
yeah,
guard at the wall.
yeah. No, that's right.
Has, which I need to change this. His name is Raven now.
Okay, there you go.
Is
Yeah,
constantly flying around making sure everything is kept under wraps. He's
yeah.
the eye in the sky.
Of course, that's right. That's right.
Jasper, Jack, is the one that makes the whole thing run. David, his minion, the hummingbird pollinating us all. That's my dad programming me.
Yeah.
Greta, my grandma, with all her spells and potions, communicating with the devil himself. So each one is telling me their role. Gerald, that's my grandpa, fulfilling his wildest, sickest, evil fantasies, communing with the devil himself. Martha, my mom, doesn't believe any of it. Alexi, my sister Angie, is the proud example for us all. Molly, Mary, her competition and nemesis, always envious and wanting more power. Let's not forget about Mandy, who's moneymaker. She just wants money, money, money.
Okay, yep.
Shiloh is sick, has to feel all of it and heal it.
Yeah.
Booker, which is Booker, he's just terrified all the time. Terrified, terrified, terrified. What's next? What's coming next?
Yeah.
Sandy, who was Sadie, can't stop crying. Tate, which was Trip, wants to rip everybody apart. Phoebe,
I like Tate. He's my guy.
yeah,
You're not
Phoebe
gonna get along
was
just fine.
sleepy, never gets any
Tell him
sleep.
he has to vent for me now today.
Okay.
Give him one for right. Oh gosh, he can vent for me
So
too.
Piper and Tabitha, which was Paper and teacher's pet, pretend everything's fine. Sarge Marge keeps the trains running on time. Now this is funny because Chris's aunt in Mariposa that we visit from time to time, her name is Marge, but she makes sure everything is done in a very specific way. So her nickname is Sarge Marge.
Okay.
So when Sarge wanted a new name, she says, I'll take Marge.
Oh, there. Okay.
Wisdom was Wizzy.
I like that.
Yeah, wisdom putting us all in an endless vortex of confusion. And now Spirit wants to flip off the devil himself. It's like, God bless us all. And then I finally went to sleep. But I think that's how that all came up because what Spirit had done.
Yep.
It's like they all were like, okay, we know we're safe now, so we can chat it up. It's like,
That's good.
but it was funny between each entry, even though it was like maybe 1 or 5 sentences. I record it, put my phone down, close my eyes, and then another one would be I grab my phone, record it, put my phone down, close my eyes, like this, back and forth for however long that took, maybe an hour. So it was like, and this was the evening after they all got new names. So I think that's a huge thing, the new name.
Okay, that's
And now this is, oh, I did that one with you. Okay, so this is last night and this morning. So again, I'm thinking about Spirit. She's showing me more and more details. She stood in the door open naked. She's saying naked. I think I had underwear on, but who knows? There was a full moon. She raised her hands out in front of her and said, I defy any one of you come near me. I defy any one of you to even touch me. She was looking at the full moon. The Lord God Almighty will strike you down, is what she said.
good.
She wasn't like yelling or anything. She stood there quietly waiting. Nothing approached, nothing moved. So this is this oh this was the 20. Where are we right now? This was the 21st. So this is that big satanic calendar day you just said.
May, no, where are we? July. What date? I'm sorry.
The 21st, the full moon. Let me look
Okay,
at
so that would have been just into, so that be from the 20th to the 27th.
Yeah, the 21st was Sunday, a full moon. And the day before, well, no, the week after would have been the Olympics.
But now August 1st, Lamas Day, Sabbat Festival, blood, animal and or human sacrifice, any age, male or female.
So it's like she knew that day and that time and waited for the full moon, John, to go do this.
Okay, that's
So
weird.
nothing approached, nothing moved. Then she put her robe back on, came in the house, quietly closed one door, leaving the security door open for Diana to discover. She turned the outside light back on and came to bed and slept. Because that morning I looked at the light switch. I'm like, well, the light was on.
Okay, so she wanted you to discover this.
She did. This was
Ah,
to let Diana know she had nothing to fear from Lucifer or his minions. And then she said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
there I go.
So then, and then I don't know, maybe another 20 minutes went, I'm, drifting off again. Jason, this is Joker. So I just saw an image of a woman sitting in a seat in an audience. What I saw was what I saw was look, she's sitting and I'm maybe 7 or 8 and I'm looking down on her chest. She had these big, huge breasts. And she had this low U-shaped dress like this, except really low, so you could see the cleavage and the bazonkas out there. She had on very expensive clothes. I was standing next to her in the aisle. She was not paying attention to me because I was nothing, the help, so to speak. Then I quickly wrapped a ribbon type item that had wire in it around her neck after I moved to stand just behind her, braced my knees against the chair, and pulled back the ribbon and strangled her to death. There were people in the audience surprised. They were made to be silent and allow it to take place. She
So
died very
this was
quickly.
a setup.
It was orchestrated, yeah. Because they had, I think I was supposedly some sort of usher. And then after this, I think I went out and did a show or something. But yeah,
This the
that's
same
the
one
first
where
time I saw a strangulation that wasn't in, I think that was in Canada. I think this was in Canada. And I think the strangulations of the men in the beds was in Milwaukee.
now the play where you had to do all that stuff and it was the French Revolution. Was this the same time or was this a different time?
Well, the French Revolution plays, those were in Chicago.
Oh, I thought that
So I
was.
think that this was maybe when the Queen came to Canada before I went on stage and did that stuff, that this took place. It's like they were sending a message to their own. This woman had to have betrayed them somehow. I don't know, but she was set up to be killed. She was placed on the end seat. I was made to be the usher for that area. And she just didn't think anything of it. I was just the help, So it was, yeah, it was orchestrated. Yeah.
Boy, wouldn't that be interesting to find out who that was and to
Oh,
look up?
that woman. I didn't see her face. I believe she had, maybe, I think she had a hat on.
Okay, like you could famous people who died on
Oh, right.
a dignitary royal.
Yeah, and see those fabric things that were made for us. I'm just remembering right now, it was around me like a belt, like a sash.
Oh,
And it was
okay.
somewhat thickish.
Yeah.
So it was like a camouflaged. And it was the same one used in Milwaukee for those men. But inside of it, along you know how when you can buy ribbon that has wire along the two edges so that you can shape it into a bow?
Yep.
It was the same thing except thicker. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't remember any of that till right now. So then Spirit is talking again. I drift off and then I wake up. Spirit, I think the sequence of events was, oh no, this is this morning. I laid down thinking about the demon in my dream and standing outside my office window. I was nervous about it. So Spirit thought she would go and confront the demon where it stood. And that happens to be only 4 feet from the front door. I sleep only in my underwear, and so when I get up, I put a light silk robe on for summer. Well, that tends to slide open even though it's tied in front because it's silk. It's kind of annoying. By the time I had gotten out to the front door and standing on the landing, looking at the place where the demon stood, my robe had slid open. I turned and I think I went to correct it and close it and tie it, but she's like, no, unopened it up and just kind of let it be open. I turned to my left and looked up to the sky to see a full moon. I thought, you know what? I dare you to come and get me. Here I am. I untied my robe and allowed it to fall open, and after a few more moments, I just took it off and laid it on a stump that is there. I stood there for a while thinking about the people all over the world worshiping this full moon that I'm staring at. I thought, to hell with them. I dare them to come here and mess with me ever again, that I will smite them with Jesus instantly.
Good.
It's funny because for days before the full moon, my eyes kept glancing at the map, thinking the full moon is coming. I don't usually pay attention to that, but I thought, well, who cares? I'd look at it and say, well, who cares? Spirit cared. Then the full moon came and I told Chris, because sometimes Chris will talk about when there's a full moon, everybody at work loses their mind.
Sure, it's true.
But he didn't seem to care either. It was that night that all occurred, which was exactly 1 week after the demon visited me. So let me see. So the 14th is when the demon came, and the 21st is when Spirit went out there. And then the following Saturday, the Olympics happened. And then, and this is just before you and I get on our Zoom meeting. I hurried up and put this in there. So I just had a realization while I was waiting for John for the Zoom meeting. I spent the last hour dealing with the dried skin on my eyes. As I was peeling the skin off, I realized, duh, that's what Livy had to do, was peel skin off people's bodies. I was thinking about that for a while, and after about 10 or 15 minutes, I heard Livy say to herself back then, I wish I could peel the skin off my eyes. And she was referring to not having to see what she has seen, which is what Grandma said, which ties in with the spell my grandma put on me when I was 3 or 4. You will not see what you see. And Livy says, yes, I wish I could peel the skin off my eyes so as to not have seen it or done it. And all this eye business started when I was waking up and listening to Alan Watt. I found Alan Watt in February, and my eyes blew up like a month or 2 later, and then transcribed after that. So it's like Alan was my path to here.
There you go.
Which I've always felt was, accurate. Before I show you the TEDs, it's only 11. Let me feed the dog.
Oh yeah, no. Diana, I'm telling you, you're doing tremendous work.
Well, thank you. I'm just kind of blown away. I keep thinking, why doesn't everybody else have this happen? And the only thing I can think of is that, like, Alan prepped me somehow
Okay, that, and I tell you what,
for his work.
right? Look at, it's a choice. And first of all, think about the choice you're making to get up and journal at night.
Yes.
And you're fearless when it comes to anything coming up. And that's the real point right there, that, somebody had, it's sort of like, how badly do you want it? That's really what it comes down to.
I agree. I totally agree.
I do want you to hear this. Hopefully this will be, this is going to be an encouragement for you. Okay. And you know what? I should have, now's the time for me to tell you or reemphasize this. Okay. Out of all the survivors I work with or have worked with, so I want you to hear this.
Okay.
You've gone through the most.
Okay. It's even your first lady with 200 parts.
Yeah.
Well, but she's not conscious of them though. Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard a lot of different, everybody's gone through heinous stuff, but I mean this in all sincerity. The stuff that you share with me, I mean, I know what I've heard over the years. And so you, I think, have gone through the worst stuff I've ever heard.
I don't know if I should say thank you or not.
that interesting? So take that as confirmation that, that's important. I didn't know if I ever shared that or not. So just,
I think you mentioned it once,
but
but
it
yeah,
really, let it sink in that.
it's pretty awful. I mean, it makes me that I think that's why I relate to Nathan Reynolds so much because he was a killer too. And Carrie, I relate to her a little bit, but I think because she hasn't revealed all the insanity, just little bits and little bits. So
But I think even my hunch is this, that you're like you want to be tied, even, but no, seriously. And so give yourself kudos. It's like, okay, when it feels horrible, when it, and this is where the Lord's going to use you because nobody can tell well, you don't understand. So you can take confidence.
I do understand. Yeah.
So you can take confidence in knowing that you're the Green Beret, you're among the Delta Force.
Well, thanks. Don't tell Chris
That's
that.
the level, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well,
that
let that sink
normalizes,
in.
right?
I keep coming back to one of the first thoughts I had when I was first remembering was, well, what I'm going through in the here and now is nothing. All I'm doing is recalling it and recording it. They went through the shit. So that the worst of the worst is over. Now
Have
it's
you
just
have
about
you written
recording.
down that really needs to be a mantra that you can, okay, hold on. Well, I'm sorry about that term, but no, that's such a key. Write that down and reference that because
I'll try to say that often because we're not.
that's it right there, right there.
But see, for people who are still their parts are still taking over, for them, they are still living it.
Right. That's
I
right.
feel I feel a step away from it. And maybe it's because I have so many parts, they get to
Well,
jump in and take over, what Carrie calls my day parts.
yeah. But it's because you're allowing them. So during venting, the past and the present meets. And
Yeah.
that's why
And
Chris is
journaling. Yeah.
and that's why Chris gets freaked out because he's hearing this guttural stuff. It's it's not fun to vent. Okay. But that's how
No,
so
but for me, it's just like an exercise in working on my computer stuff. It's just an exercise working on TED. It's not physical exercise, which it is, but it's just an activity necessary to get
oh
to the end
no,
goal.
100%.
Yeah.
But think about the times you do those guttural things. It's it's a party who's ready to lose their mind in the sense that you're tapping into the injustice.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that's what people want to stay away from, meaning right? Because in those moments, it's it's just sheer emotional pain. It's you're
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I just do it
no, that's right. But think
and
about
let the shifting in my head
right,
occur.
right.
I
But if
I
if
guess I trust the process.
100%, 100%. So you're doing it, but it's it's that when as you go back and maybe watch some of your videos, those moments, there are a couple of times where you stand, you've been beating you, but all of a sudden you scream in their
Just
face.
stand and scream.
Okay.
Yeah.
But think about the intensity. That's nuclear rage. And it's beautiful. As a matter of fact, I know I read it before. Let me read this to you. I just read this morning, by the way. Um, in Isaiah 63, that's a beautiful passage. So he's talking about he stepped in himself. He was disgusted and appalled and amazed. There was no one to intervene to help the oppressed. Here it is. So I stepped in myself to save them with my strong arm, and my wrath sustained me.
I guess that's wrath.
It is wrath.
I
Okay.
guess I always imagined wrath was physical beating or pounding or something.
That's what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
But when you tap into that, it's like dry heaves.
You mentioned that once before.
No, meaning it's absolute healing. It's getting it out, but
Yeah.
no greater degree of pain at that moment because you're in touch with it. And it's all
I just let
converging.
it flow. I don't know. I don't really think
It's
about it
coming
too much.
from all of it's converged, and really what's happened is in that those windows of time, that's why you can't manufacture it, right? And when it comes up, the convergence of, and this is really the key to going through the grief and loss process. So without anger, you can't finish grief and loss. Okay, it's the meaning and the implications. So when that hits, so when you sense that coming up and when it happens, it's the transferring of those knapsacks.
All right.
And very few survivors want to experience that because
Well,
it's pure truth. And it rips one's guts out. Sorry, that's a horrible term. I mean, but right,
no, I
it's
get it.
okay.
Whenever you make those slips, it never
Okay.
offends me.
It's gut wrenching. Okay, that's right. It's gut wrenching. It's guttural. Uh,
Hmm.
a couple of times, if you go back and watch, right,
Oh, I do. I've seen them all at
there you
least
go,
3 or
right.
4
It only lasts for 3 minutes. It's right, only. But those 3 minutes are absolute nuclear.
Yeah.
And so it's pure healing that's going on. But it's pure truth. And once you start to tap into those moments,
You want to watch a couple TEDs?
okay, let's do
It'd be
it.
about 30 minutes if we watch 2 of them.
Okay, let's do it. Right.
Okay.
And that's why, but hear this because it's so confirming for you. Ready? Very few survivors go there
I don't know why they wouldn't.
because they're fearful of experiencing what you're experiencing. And but see exactly that. They see someone, you will be their coach. You will be able to show them this, and it's amazing that you're putting on, right, that you've captured on film. And so when they look at it for the very first time, they see
It's gonna
someone
scare the
doing it,
shit out of them, I'm sure.
but still, right, you're inviting them. There's an old book from the 70s, a beautiful book. It's an analogy like um, this Pilgrim's Progress. It's called Hind's Feet, which is an old-fashioned term for a deer,
Hmm.
mountain goat. Hind's feet on hind places. This comes out of the book of Psalms, that phrase. Um, and it's all in an, that would be, you know what? That would be beautiful because it uses a lot of word pictures that I think the parts would really enjoy. It's a beautiful story. It's just kind of the Christian walk, but it's going
Yeah.
someplace.
Oh, I forgot. I gotta tell you something.
Tell me,
I've been meaning to tell you this for a couple of weeks.
tell me.
When 4th of July happened and Chris was
Yeah,
talking to one of his army buddies
yeah,
who was feeling suicidal,
yeah. Oh
they
gosh.
they he brought up what they call, oh, I put it in my phone here. Let me find it. Fiddler's Green. Have you ever heard of that?
What
It's
is
a
that movie?
poem. It's a poem that they are required to
Oh,
say and do. Fiddler's Green poem. All right. It's called Poetry of the First Team. I'll read it to you.
yes, please.
Fiddler's Green, halfway down the trail to hell, in a shady meadow green, are the souls of all the dead troopers camped near
Mm.
a good old time canteen. And this eternal resting place is known as Fiddler's Green. Marching past straight through to hell, the infantry are seen, accompanied by the engineers, artillery, and marines, For none but the shades of cavalrymen dismount at Fiddler's Green. Though some go curving down the trail to seek a warmer scene, no trooper ever gets to hell ere he's emptied his canteen. So they're playing with the word. Canteen at first is meant as a bar, and now they're talking about their actual canteen. So it says, though some go curving down the trail to seek a warmer scene, no trooper ever gets to hell ere he's emptied his canteen. And so rides back to drink again with friends at Fiddler's Green. So when man and horse go down beneath a saber's keen, or in a roaring charge of fierce melee, you stop a bullet clean. And hostiles come to get your scalp, just empty your canteen and put your pistol to your head and go to Fiddler's Green. And you wonder why 22 veterans a day are killing themselves?
What is that?
This and on top of it, a week later, Chris was watching some musician playing at a military bar.
What is that?
I know, I was shocked because that night he came and had me read it, and I said, well, this is abhorrent. Chris is like, no, they make it out like it's romantic and beautiful.
Okay,
And
what
arm in
is
arm, your
this?
brothers, right? But so a week later, Chris and I are watching this musician play at a military thing, and some guy, military guy, a major, comes up and sings with the musician. And all of a sudden they pan through the restaurant, and there on the wall was this poem, Fiddler's Green. It was like 4 feet long, 3 feet wide. So these soldiers are going into these bars with this poem there that's programming them to kill themselves.
100%. Oh, I just figured
Well,
out.
I thought you should know because you work with or if you work with soldiers. But I thought, my God, Chris's friend needs to know that he was being programmed this way. Because Chris said Chris never gets to the point of wanting to kill himself. He did 20 years ago, but it was never like intense or serious. It was like surface level. But that's why I think Chris can help them, because somehow Chris detached or didn't get that programming. But today's soldiers are. The guy that Chris works with, they've been working together about 8 years, and the guy just got out. So as of 10 years ago, this guy knew this poem. But yeah, look it up online and read through it 2 or 3 times. They play with the word canteen. They play with a couple other words, and it fucks your head up. But the way that it's delivered is in a, like this romantic, look up a YouTube of it, and you'll hear the music behind it. And it's all very like military and romantic and emotional. But that's what's drawing them in. And the end, the 2 lines before the end, it says, just empty your canteen and put your pistol to your head and go to Fiddler's Green.
Who would have people memorize that?
They did. Chris said that in the Army, that this guy, his friend, his name is Miller. His last, I don't even remember his first name. They're programmed to kill themselves.
Yeah,
And I told Chris, you wonder why that 022 thing is going on? I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That was the organization that Chris found, that they had that technology Chris thought he wanted to have done, but it's called Let's Make 22-0 Again.
Okay.
So I think their organization is called 220.com or something like that. But if they don't know that, they should, and they must, if they're working with soldiers. I can't believe soldiers haven't told them about this poem. So I was appalled.
Yeah, why haven't we heard about this poem?
I was appalled. It's all over YouTube. And so, soldiers are turning it on, and
but nobody, civilians haven't heard this.
I know. I was shocked. Like I said, the first time I ran through it, it was like midnight and I was half asleep. And I'm like, well, this is crap. And I forgot about it till a week later. And Chris goes, yeah, check this out.
I mean, there's plenty of other. How about memorizing the Battle Hymn of the Republic?
Well, I don't know what that is, but
And
yeah.
I've seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, tramping.
Oh, oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. But this blatantly
something where it
says,
talks,
put
right?
your pistol to your head.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. I was
It's
shocked. I was shocked and appalled.
honest.
But I thought, if you run into
Yeah,
soldiers,
thank you for sharing that with me,
you need
right?
to address that with them. And this guy was an army guy.
And when was that introduced? What's up
I
with
don't know. I don't know.
like to find out when that started to be introduced?
Well, maybe if I have time, I'll look into that. Fiddler.
Somebody had to decide to introduce that at some point in time.
Yeah, but he said that because he was an air cav guy, he was the on a helicopter that transported Rangers back and forth. That's how him and Chris can relate to each other. He wasn't a Ranger, he was the operations guy. There was three people on the helicopter, the pilot, I think the co-pilot, and the third guy, which was him, and I forget what that's called. But so they're air cav, the air cavalry. And Fiddler's Green talks about the cavalry. So I'm sure that this guy, or maybe the air cav gets that programming, or maybe just certain units get it. But if anybody's going to know where shit went down and who they transported it there, it would be the air cav. And so let's have these guys kill themselves when they get out of the army, right? So they can't talk about shit. So that's their kill switch, was this stupid poem. Unbelievable.
Seriously.
Yeah, that was the thing I think 2 and 3 weeks ago I kept wanting to tell you about, was forgetting. Yeah, so anyway, I guess we'll switch gears.
Okay.
So this is Ted yesterday. Now Chris left for a business trip at like noon. So the whole evening today, all in myself, he doesn't come back till tomorrow night. So I thought, let me get 3 Teds in while he's
Oh,
gone.
did you?
I got
Wow.
2
Okay.
in so far. I
Oh,
got 2 in, yeah.
you're a wild thing.
Well, I got, as he obviously I trigger him when I do it, so.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
Hello, everyone. It is
Can you hear it?
30th today, July 30th.
Yes. And you
Okay.
took the sign down, so
Happy to
that's good,
report
right?
my knee is 100%.
Well, I positioned and I took the signs off this wall here. Yeah, they're gone.
Could you go back? You talked about your knee?
Here.
Oh,
For
yeah.
like 8 or 12. I think it took 3 or 4 bouts with Ted, but
Oh, here.
it is I think it's the 30th today, July 30th.
It's the 29th. I was wrong.
Happy to report my knee is 100%. I think it took 3 or 4 bouts with Ted, but
Wow.
this years-long problem that just this year lasted for like 8 or 12 weeks. It's getting bad. I had to wear it. It's healed. It's fine. It's perfect. I'm excited. Anyhow, right now I've got a tingling in my thumbs. Yesterday I could barely even hold a plate.
Oh, really?
Work on
was
Ted
bad.
yesterday. My husband's here and I get a little self-conscious when he's here. So plus
Could
I
you
don't feel
volume a bit on your end?
verbally express myself either. Although I will say, when he's here, there is something I
Okay, no, don't worry. I just turned up the volume on my end. I'm good.
Okay, I'll go back a minute or two.
The freezer feel free to verbally express my. Right now, I've got a tingling in my thumbs. Yesterday, I could barely even hold a plate. I was gonna work on Ted yesterday, but my husband's here, and I get a little self-conscious when he's here. So. Plus, I don't feel free to verbally express myself either. Although I will say, when he's here, there is something I started doing is I'll come out to get something out of the freezer or just whatever out here. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to take my little knife and.
I like it. Good for you. Oh, it's perfect. Good. There, that right? At those perfect.
Yeah.
10 or 15-second TED Talk. So
Oh, aren't you good?
I've done that 4 or 5 times, and
Wow.
worked the little last bits out of my knee, so that was cool. But yeah, now I've got thumb issues, and I've been having a lot of pain in my neck. So I thought I would work on that today. Here we go. And also, I'm
You're
still
great, Diana. I really like working with you. Do you know you get vicarious satisfaction when you do this?
I do. That's why I watch them 3 or 4 times.
Look at it. I love it. You're beating them for me too. Give them one for me.
It's like this.
A therapist is supposed to be neutral. Like hell, just beat them. Beautiful. Good. Oh, good. I like that one. Oh, that's good. Good. I love that you're going after the spot.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's like I try to visualize my knee when I hit that hip there.
And do you remember who you were thinking of at this time?
No, I'm visualizing my knee because the Ted doesn't have a knee.
Yeah, no.
Made a list, went through my parts. Had to figure out the ones who are angry, and made a list here, my cue. I now have I don't know, I think 156 parts. A little bit of insanity trying to keep up with them, but I do.
Can you pause it just for a second?
Put on here,
Yeah.
4 people.
But as far as when you were venting, was any particular person coming to mind?
No, it's just the body part that I was focusing on. Because the knee was hit by probably 5 or 6 different perps over time. My dad, the guy at Himmler's Castle. I think Jack whacked it a few times. So I just focused on the knee. Whoever's hurt my knee, fucking stop it. Stop hurting my knee. You
Okay,
know,
now here's a
same thing with
suggestion.
my neck.
This will sort of be an experiment. You do what you want with it. See, because you're doing 100% fine, right? So it's just me. I'm just throwing out. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of go with my intuition, but again, is this not a critique whatsoever? This is just coming to my mind. If you can allow yourself to think of
That particular incident.
and the person, so it's Jack that you're hitting, or it's the perp at Himmler's Castle. It may, so test that, go with, so 100%, you're doing great. So don't think this is anything other than it just kind of came to my mind for a moment.
Yeah, no, I'll take any feedback. I don't take it personally.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, if he can become Jack, so like the different people that kicked your knee, go through the Rolodex. You and I are older, right?
Right? Yeah.
Go through the Rolodex, give it to Jack, give it to your dad, give it to the perp. So
The castle, yeah.
So there's just a thought, and
Okay.
there we go. There we go.
Be first in line, so that's
Good workout. Good workout.
part of me that was taught to take on and embrace Lucifer inside of me, to have that rage, to be able to express that rage through my killers, to be able to accomplish the job. Sorry to say. So, as I was going through my list, I realized Lance has not had a chance at TED, so.
Okay. Lance is my buddy.
And he has powerful blows.
Yeah, I like Lance.
I am not.
There we go.
I am not Lucifer. I'm not. I am What? You people. You be Lucifer. Let me kill.
Oh, I like that one. I love that. Good, good. Oh, this is good.
My bones in.
Good. That's beautiful. right there.
Face.
Good for you, Diana. I love it. Hit in the face. That's beautiful. Good.
Motherfucker. Come on, house. Don't you love house? Invade my dreams.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I dare you.
Good.
Jesus wins.
Those blows are super powerful.
Tell you, the pain I've been having in my neck was it's pretty intense. It felt like daggers in there. Came out and took a few whacks. Warned my husband beforehand. I screamed just like I had done, just once. And I noticed that that yelling released some of the pain in my
Oh,
shoulder.
that's beautiful.
Now, I will admit, when I went in, my husband massaged my shoulder a little bit. He's convinced it's from the massage that it was relieved a little. But honestly, I think it was from verbalizing.
That's worth gold that you're sharing with people, Diana.
Because we never got to scream at them, which we wanted to do, but we never got to. So I just all day long I kept thinking I need to holler some more. And I didn't get to for a couple of days. I think that's why it stayed in there. So here I am.
This is so beautiful.
Oh, Vince. He's my little guy that he was raped from the backside, let's just say. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't speak up. He just takes it. So he needs to
And you're doing great.
Look at this.
Good.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Good.
How dare you? How dare you?
There you go. Those are the moments, right? That's the,
I can feel it when I'm watching it.
there you go. Okay, that's what most survivors don't even want to get close to. It's those moments that are so healing. Ooh, I like what you're doing. This is so good, Diana.
I'm glad. I'm not even self-conscious anymore.
No, it's so good for somebody to see when you think, oh, what's the SRA thing?
Tanya.
Was that in your video?
Tanya was the part installed.
I haven't aired it yet.
Those
I put this on too soon.
boxes of SRA
I
training.
gotta move those in.
Okay. No, that wasn't negative. It's just,
Pop an image of it.
that's so good that you're going to talk about that too, the SRA box.
She was responsible to keep all the parts behind a wall in prison, not allowed to come out. I'm grateful that she was one of the first parts that came out in the dream. I had a dream and I woke up and sketched it. And I realized that there were all these little shadow people popping around the wall looking at me in the dream.
Huh.
There was 15 of them at once. So
Oh,
Not even one of us. Not card anymore.
Good, good. Those are great. I love those. I love that.
Card. Good. Bucket.
Good.
I'm not a critter card.
You got power going. That's beautiful.
No.
There you go.
Big me and find them all. Fuck you.
Good, good. Oh, that's beautiful. I like it.
I don't really do the head too much, but she liked smashing their heads.
Oh, it's beautiful. All of it's good, but I really like that.
Do her first wax. She says she's good.
And this is so vital to share with it. Good for you. Right? Go through the checklist. You're doing it great.
What does she have to do horrible things and receive horrible things? She would just stuff her face, just stuff her food as sweet as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking with my counselor, and it dawned on me like was to wash away the flavor of blood and other things, which I'm sure most of you know as other things.
Yeah, this is perfect.
To this day, I eat way too much sugar. So,
Good.
In the mouth. Yeah.
No, that's right. That's
gonna eat way anymore. No more stuffing and stuffing and stuffing and stuffing.
there you go.
I don't want to feel it. I don't want to taste it or smell it.
Good.
Don't.
Right. This is how you stop that. There you go. Good.
Stuffing. Blood. And blood. It's sick. All of you are sick.
Like, good. Oh, that's good.
And one more, Forrest.
Doing great.
The demon I encountered while meditating once, Buddhist meditation. He approached me. I'll tell you about it later. He ran it up to my face, freaked me out. I recoiled, got out of the meditation, stood up, walked around, and shook it off. But that thing followed me around for 2 days. He wanted me to accept him in, and I didn't. It's the most scared I've ever been in my life. And now this is like, I don't know, 10, 15 years after all the SRA. So you know how terrifying all that shit was as a child. Well, I was probably 30, 35. This was the most scared I had ever been, and I was simply sitting in my room meditating. So, ward off the demon. You're not welcome. You're not welcome ever, anywhere at all, ever. You're not fucking hell.
Good.
You lose.
Good for you.
Jesus wins.
There you go.
You lose.
There you go.
You know you lose.
Oh, I think I remembered the spirit stuff after this.
There you go.
You lose. So, yeah. Was that 5 parts? 4, 5 parts. I'm fried. Oh, excuse my voice. Did everything off for today? 15 minutes is pretty damn good, so y'all have a great day. I will. See you next time.
Well done. And that, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And here's this morning.
Okay. The Lord's going to use you in very strategic ways in the lives of survivors.
Oh.
You're showing them how to do, you're showing them the way.
Well, and on Rumble, I think they're hitting about 30 views now, the TED Talks. So
It is July 30th. I was wrong on my last video. Anyway, I'm out here to do a TED Talk, but it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty quiet in the neighborhood. I was just out back and out front watering. And I thought, well, I can't really come out here and scream, my blood curdling scream. That's what my husband called it the other day when I came
That's
out
so
hollered. He was in the living room with my dog. And
beautiful. I love the blood curdling.
hold on, I went out to do a TED Talk and I closed the garage door, but he had the front door open for the cool breeze. And anyway, I hollered and I came back in and he said, you know, geez, Louise, you know, he said something else. He said that blood curdling scream, you know, the dog jumped off the couch and under his legs and whatever. And I thought, well, I can't just come out here at 8 o'clock in the morning and holler. And, you know, people aren't even at work yet. And can't scream like that and freak everybody out. So, and my neighbor even came over once about 2 weeks ago after I did a TED
Can
Talk.
I stop it just for a second? Here came to mind.
And my
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, just a little thought. I wonder if this sounds hokey, but all of a sudden, if you know how they have on where you can attach in car windows those little signs, "Baby on board," or you know,
oh, right, screaming in process.
like martial arts practice in process, everything's fine, or just
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Well, here was my solution this morning.
husband warned the neighbors that they might hear me hollering, but
okay.
Here, I go back a little.
and my husband had warned the neighbors that they might hear me hollering, but guess it's pretty intense. So I thought I would brought a little pillow out here and I would scream into that. It's I was thinking about something Nathan Reynolds had said once, that he went out into his car with all the windows rolled up, which was in the garage, which was all closed up. And he said he just screamed and screamed and screamed. And I thought, well, I guess it's about getting the energy out, not so much freaking out the whole neighborhood. So I'm going to try that today.
Yeah, because I thought, you know, if I triggered Chris like that, what am I doing to other people in the neighborhood?
But that's why I thought if you could, and therefore Chris could say, when you see the sign up, because
Well,
then
and the sign might work. Yeah, I mean,
because they're only going to see it then if you put it up and take it down. So you can just say martial arts class in progress.
or I could just be honest and say therapy in process, everything's fine.
Venting session.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And so they obviously won't see it very often, but when it's up, then they'll start to connect the fact that everything's fine with you. They're just hearing you.
Yeah, this seemed to work today because I thought, you know, how many of us live in a neighborhood, you know, where, you know, your neighbors are here. And, you know, if there's, you know, like we have a lady across the street, she's probably in her mid or late 20s and she's schizophrenic. So what is that going to do to her, you know, or whatever? So
I tell you what, maybe the schizophrenia is the fact that she's been keeping stuff in. Maybe it'll help her.
yeah. Well, anyway, so here was today, but it didn't seem to change anything.
And I brought my list.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yesterday. Except I think,
There we go.
yeah, I think I will do the same 5 people because they're going to impact others, which I'll go into in a different talk.
Good for you. Good for you.
But as these guys release their rage, kind of allows others to pick it up. And then they
So good. You've got such good insight, Diana.
anyway, it all kind of balances out. It's being expelled. So let me get started. Just did my stretches, which I recommend y'all do. I have these little stretchy band things that you hook to the back side of the door. Just stretch. I think I'll do a little video on that. It's 2 minutes and you can stretch your entire body. So it's very nice. Anyway, keep going. I think I'll work on my empty band. They told embodied Lucifer. That was actually the first part's name, Lucifer, until I changed it. We changed it. We liked the name Lance. I did too. So here we go, Lance.
It's good.
That's how it works because my little doggy's still standing right there. I'll have to show you Dixie. He's the cutest little thing.
Yeah, right. You're funny. Okay, that's good.
Oh, now she turned it on. Don't get to hurt us. Don't get to make me hurt other people. You don't.
Good.
It's not the same as seeing you just yell.
Yeah.
It felt fine doing it, but watching it now, I'm thinking,
Because she's our friend.
It does sort of break the flow.
yeah. I think the sign is probably a better thing.
I mean, ideally. Maybe Chris or you just go around to the neighbors and just say, hey, and show them the sign that I'm doing some venting exercise, martial arts. And if you see the sign up while you're hearing that, everything's fine.
Yeah, because it feels like it's going into my hand. When I watch it, it seems like it's going into my hands, not at him.
Yeah. And I think part of the problem is just thinking this through. When you have to stop and then do it, it interrupts that flow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about the name, bless her heart, but tell her she can come over. Well, never mind. Okay. She can get one of these for herself. Because the case could be
She's
made.
a whole story under herself. She walked into my house one day when we had our air conditioner being installed. She walked right in, uninvited. I had only met her once 2 weeks prior. And I had to make her leave. She wouldn't leave.
Yeah. Okay.
And then an hour later, and I was very plain with her. I said, the only way you're allowed to come here, you go to the front door and you knock.
Yeah.
You don't enter. And an hour later, she did the same thing again. And so I got in her, and I went like this. Her face was like an inch away. And I said, and I had to back her out of the garage, like 40 feet, my hand in her face, not touching her, just like this is what she saw. And I kept advancing on her to get her out. She hasn't come back again. Chris told me about a month later, he heard her complaining to her man over there that I was a bitch and blah, 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 blah.
Don't worry about her.
I'm not, yeah.
So that,
Kill you, perps.
good.
Oh, wait, here.
Strap of some sort. You can see it's tearing, but
This was Joker because I remembered him last night.
Yeah.
kill you, perps. Strangle you, perps, to death. Die!
Good.
Look at my face.
Right? That's a beautiful face, honestly.
Suffer. Feel it, feel it, feel it.
Matter of fact, that's the face that God makes.
Okay.
That's
He's
another.
angry at the wicked every day. That's why it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of an angry God
Yeah.
on
What-
behalf of those that have been harmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another part that was made to whip. I know y'all must think me barbarian, but it's what happened.
No way. Daniel, this is a very godly thing to do. It is. This is God's righteous indignation coming out.
Here we go. Oh,
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, it kind of cuts the flow off just a little bit. Isn't that interesting? Just the act of setting the bat
When I
down.
realized that energy is going right into my hands
Yeah,
instead of going to him.
yeah. So forget about the neighbors.
I think the sign will probably be good.
There you go. There you go.
do my thing. Take their eyes out. You die.
Good.
You die.
I don't know why I want to laugh when I watch this, but
It's great.
Nice. You. You. You die.
yeah, I don't know where that move came from, but
Yeah. Okay. Look at how you're holding the knives.
My God.
That's you just didn't.
Little light
That ain't normal. I mean, right? The average person is going to hold a knife differently,
no, yeah. Well, I've had some practice with Ted now.
right?
My parts are refamiliarizing. Yeah.
I was debating if I should have a little light breakfast before I come out here, which is kind of like exercise, but I've discovered that if I do this while I'm hungry, because that's what they did to me, starve me, starve me, starve me, starve me. It causes, that hangry. And normal people, imagine what it causes in us, the SRA. So we're not just hangry, we're furious hangry.
I like that term.
Anyway,
I like that term.
so I do this while I'm hungry.
Good. Look at that move. That ain't normal. That training. It's excellent to show people because at the very least they have an example of what they can use at home if they can't have the setup.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Should I do a TED talk on my bed just to show people? I've never done it, but
I think you should, Diane. I think right then you're giving people if they live in an apartment, if they live, right, what they can do.
Or their couch, if they get a big fluffy
There you
couch.
go. I think that would be perfect. So it's like sometimes you have the videos there, they show here's how to exercise in your home if you can't make it to the gym.
Full body. Yeah.
Because somebody, this is beautiful, right? Somebody might think, well, I can't afford one of these, so I can't vent. So if you show people, right, here's how to vent on a budget.
Right.
It's beautiful. Good. I like that one.
Right between the eyes.
There you go.
So I think we're good. Where were we?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of the pillow.
Hopefully, I have not freaked anybody out. Sure,
Yeah.
that bird.
Yeah. Don't worry about the neighbors. Right. Give them heads up, put the sign and go back to it.
Anyway, thanks for coming along. I hope you all have yourself TED Talk as often as possible.
It's
It
beautiful.
helps, reduces the rage and
There you go.
sadness, and you just generally feel better. So have a good day. See you next
time. Okay, so, well, I tried it and I don't like it.
No, listen, but that's invaluable because you're showing someone, again, if they live, here it is, if they live in an apartment or if they live in a house without a garage and they have kids in the house. So it's
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because we got a baby next door and what is it, a kindergartner and a first grader,
right. So
8 o'clock in the morning.
uh,
But it did just occur to me, if I do one on my bed, how many of us were, raped on a bed or some
that's
sort of,
perfect, all right.
and you could just have a tantrum.
Also, one other instrument that you might want to show them, take a beach towel or a larger towel. So if you have an extra one, roll it up and then duct tape it real tight.
Oh, for the weapon.
There you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Never thought of that. Okay. What do I want to show you next?
You don't have to use an entire roll to where, in some way, or maybe have a dowel in it. Roll a dowel up.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, an old broom handle or something.
Oh, isn't that good?
Yeah. How many of us have an old broom or a mop or
Or
something?
they can go to Home Depot and buy,
A dowel. Yeah, because I've got dowels in all my windows for locks.
I think you're on to, that's perfect, right?
But I know we're close and getting close to 12. I'll show you this. I did one with all the parts.
Look at this.
All the parts. And so it's vertical. And so now I can, as the months go by, I can add, so I just did it, even though it's not August 1st. I thought every 2 months checkup or something. And you know, 156 people. That's a lot. And you can see where some are still the same. That's Kevin. That's why I put him on the list for Ted, because he's just numb and detached.
There we go.
Same thing with Corky, whose name is now Cole. No, Colt. That's his name. Oh, Wizzy. I gotta change their names on here. I forgot. Wisdom. Mind trip. I don't do it right now, but so yeah, here's all the parts. Where is
Or that might be interesting. especially if anybody's ever going to see this, to maybe do
Add this on to the end of a TED Talk.
okay,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And then also, oh, that would be interesting, like before and after a TED Talk, a TED session, right? TED Talk, but also the previous name and the current name for each.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
wouldn't that be beautiful? Oh, you're on to so not only do you have bi-monthly check-in, but you're going to show people then maybe even, oh,
Well, but here's something that occurred to me. I thought only a few after we changed all the names, I realized only a few have changed their clothes, and only a few, even fewer, have destroyed their prison. And only a few have new pictures. Now, granted, they're all happy. They're in the journal entries, and everybody's recorded and acknowledged and whatever. But
that needs to be a separate chart.
yeah, this is it's so I called it my
Oh, you
emotional.
have it on here about the prison and clothes?
Yeah, right here. I called it my parts health checklist.
Oh, you're doing such fantastic work. I gotta
So
take,
I'll send this to you. So part with name and picture.
oh gosh, this is
Do
good.
they have a new name? Do they
Yeah,
have new clothes?
good for
Have
you.
they destroyed their prison? And do they have a new picture yet?
Good.
So the yellow are people who they and I don't really feel a need to change their name because I like them the
Yeah,
way they
I
are.
like them. That's right.
So yeah, like I remember when I first started off, tripped, hey, we did the quicksand, they burned the tornado, we shattered the step here. So what I'm gonna do is print this out and keep it by my bed. So we have a parts puddle. It's like, okay, who wants to do some work? Right? And then we could have one or two or three people change because that's what I said, everybody change clothes. A lot of people changed clothes the past 2 days, which I need to record that.
Yeah.
But very few have destroyed their prison. Oh,
Well,
I put this in the wrong area. So I thought that was
you're
important.
pretty good with Excel.
Oh yeah, when I was at Best Buy, I and I know how to feed one document into another, but I've never done it with charts, so that's gonna be interesting
Huh.
to figure that out. But yeah, a lot of them, like remember oh, who was it? Yeah, yeah, Betty, bitch. She destroyed her prison with acid. Remember that?
I do.
And these guys with
Okay.
the military and the castle, we dropped a bomb on them,
Yeah.
right? And this one that like a week ago, we shattered the step that I had to scrub and screwed my nails up and all that. So I still got a lot of work to go, but like I said, imagine if you only got 30 parts. I think that'd be a piece of cake,
Right.
you know? But as you go through these steps with your 30 parts, then, well, 30 more pop up, which I don't want to freak people out about that. But I thought, well, this is the health checklist. And my focus has been on getting them, okay, in the journal. Do you have a picture? Do we have your bio? Are you on the graph? Are you in the
This
mind
is phenomenal,
files?
Diana.
Have
This
we done your anger levels, your sad levels?
is phenomenal.
So yeah, it's giving them a checkup, a mental health checkup,
You're
really.
it's really doing the inventory.
Yeah, what I call it? The parts health checklist. I should call it mental health, but it's just their health in general. It's my mental health.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But yeah, and I always have to do old name, new name because I'm still not. But you know what's funny when you assign them new names and you literally go through each of these documents and change them,
Yeah.
you have to go over them 9 or 10, 12 times, and then I'll start to remember them better. But if I didn't have all these documents, I wouldn't keep up with them at
Right.
all. So yeah, I thought this was really cool, but everybody's got a new name except the people in yellow. And I think Claire probably should, because she had to do some nasty things up until I realized that I wanted to keep her name the same. So maybe we'll call her, I don't know, Clarity.
Oh, okay.
Or the one that's called, what is it, Scratch,
Yeah.
is now Serenity.
Wow.
Right? Scratch. Well, we have Serenity.
Wow.
And so all I did was I went on a website and I had girl name, boy names, and you pick from the alphabet. Most, I'd say 80 or 90% of the people kept their first initial, because I asked them that. I said, it really helped me remember you better. Like Punch, she picked Portia, and it didn't occur to me till a couple days later. Well, a Portia's got a lot of punch, doesn't it?
Ah.
Right? So it's these little plays with the words, or like the name Deco. Well, it's still DE, but it's Devon now, or Bike wanted the name Bird because we feel like we're flying through the air. So it's just little mnemonic tricks that they choose. Or plant, my favorite flower is jasmine. So her name is Jasmine now. Video turned into violet because I think that's a beautiful color.
I
Um,
what you just shared with me, make sure you reference this in one of the talks.
oh yeah, for sure.
Go through a book of names or a list of names.
Yeah, or like Rocky. First he wanted to be Robbie, then Bobby. He's gone through like 5 names, but we finally, as I went through online, it said boy names with an R. He liked Riley because it encompassed the R and the Y. So the beginning and end of Rocky is right there, RY, and then Lee, which interestingly enough is Chris's middle name. So he's like, he likes Chris. And Hands turned into Hope. Owie is Opal because I love the different stones,
Ah,
so they all have these. And Scratch went to Serenity, but Scratchy, right, turned into Tyson, like Mike Tyson,
ah,
right? He's like, fuck me, Scratch. He's the one that likes to punch. That's Tyson. So, and Kitten loved the name Jewel. She was just like, I don't want a K name. I said, well, pick out whatever you want. And so we kind of flipped around the alphabet and Jewel popped up and she goes, I want Jewel, I want Jewel. So
ah.
Shotgun, Shane, Kevin went to Vince because of the V. So they all mostly want to retain something from their first name, but they prefer the a Wizzy. She chose 2 other names, which ironically happened to be names that somebody else picked. And I didn't know it until I started charting it out. And I said, well, how about wisdom? You still get the whiz part, wisdom. And she goes, yeah, okay. So it's a play with letters or with sounds. Tasmania's
That's
raven.
perfect because think about King Solomon, the second king. No, I'm sorry, that would be the third king of Israel. Well, the book of Proverbs, the majority of it's written by Solomon, the Temple of Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon. So um, when he was taking over from his father, King David, who wrote the majority of the Psalms,
Uh-huh.
um, he prayed, right? So he's inheriting this entire, he's becoming king of the
Mhm.
salvation. And so he prays, and what he prays for was wisdom. And God honored him. He said, because you didn't pray for riches and the earthly stuff, he said, I'm going to give you wisdom and the other stuff. So
Oh, nice.
Proverbs, as you read the first couple of chapters, it's talking about that's the highest thing. So God
Oh, I didn't know that. No, when I
values
started praying
wisdom.
years ago, I when I cooked, I should do it again now, but I kind of stopped. But I would always say, God, please bless this food with courage, strength, wisdom, and vitality.
There you go.
Because I knew that our food was poisoned, and I thought, well, if I pray over it, then
Oh.
God can change it.
As a matter of fact, one of the key verses, that a very key concept that I use all the time in working with people, is doing what is right, just, and fair. And that's Proverbs chapter 1, verse 3, 2, verse 9. If we pray for wisdom, we will know what is right, just, and fair. So justice. So once I know wisdom, I will intuitively have justice. So wisdom, a great name for Wizzy.
Yeah, yeah.
Wizzy
She
has,
was about confusing everything.
there you go. But Wizzy has, she taps into the spiritual realm, God's spiritual realm. She can grab hold of God, like
Oh,
wrestling with the angels. So it's beautiful. That's a beautiful name, because God, it says, if we pray for wisdom, he will grant us that. So she's in a very strategic position to really tap into God's spirit. So it's a beautiful thing.
oh, cool. All right. So this is that anger one that I showed you already, but I broke it out into just fury, and that way I can add on over the months. Then I did the same thing with the sad. So these columns here in this cover page now each have their own tab that can be built upon, which is what we kind of talked about.
Okay, now repeat that and define what you just
Well,
said.
here's remember this chart, the anger levels, where I put everybody on one page, right?
Yeah.
Well, instead I took this section here and gave it its own tab so that
Beautiful,
over time I can build it out.
beautiful,
So the
beautiful.
next section,
Oh,
right,
that's beautiful. Yep.
frustration. So each has a different tab. These were all the killers. And as I was going through this, that's when I started making my list. Lucifer, who is Lance,
Yep.
is still really pissed off.
I'm sorry. So you already have the before and after names. So okay, never mind. Right there.
Yeah, yeah. And most of these
There you go.
irritation, oppression.
So look at Lance. So it's already happening.
Yeah, yeah. But it didn't hit me until I was doing these charts going, wow, you need some work here.
Good for you, right? This is
So yeah. And then
well,
I did the same thing with the
perfect look at a
sadness.
glance. There's a look at a glance. It's like, okay, where where do I need to do some work? Or who
Well, and
needs.
that's what those charts do for you. Yeah. And then it wasn't until I don't know, a couple days later, I realized, oh, the clothing and the name and the, destroy your prison. We haven't done that with a lot of people. So, and it's huge because I realized Kitten was still in her, half naked state. And now she's got a lovely dress on.
That's
And
beautiful.
I think about 8 or 10 of the girls like these dresses that I wear. So they're like, I want one of those. I want one of those. I want one of those. Or in the fall, I'll tend to wear leggings and a loose top, and half of the other girls like that. So, but the ones who used to wear armor, they like to wear turtlenecks with long sleeves,
Oh, is that right?
with jeans and boots. Yeah, yeah.
What would it feel like
But
for
now Barry went from that to like he's wearing beach clothes.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's, once they change once, then they just keep altering as they go. But they need permission for the first one. is what, for me, what I discovered. So I thought that was really interesting.
It might be interesting. I mean, you know better than anybody. Do they want a new picture of themselves?
They do, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I've asked him if they could be patient with me.
Oh, that's oh, they want
I want to get all the names filled out on all the forms. I just realized right now that I didn't do the anger sadness charts. I forgot to change those, but I did everything else. So they're like, okay, we'll wait.
there's
And
only some.
it was like I told you, what, 3 weeks ago or something, that I told him I only want to do 5 names at a time. Well, I finally just bit the bullet and I said, whoever wants to change, tell me. And everybody did, except for Alan, John, Jesus, Ted, Claire, Dream, Spirit, and Michael, the ones that I feel are connected to God. They're like, no, we're good. So it's like, okay, so. And if you don't dig in there, I mean, I just don't know how people are functioning. I really don't.
Well, and Diana, this is why for some sort of, bless their heart, but at the same time, how badly do you want it? This is why when you hear of survivors where they say, oh, I've been in therapy for 15 years or 20 years.
Why? Because they're not talking to one person. Even if they just, like for me, Blue opened the doorway because we did a sketch. She gave me her story. I got a picture, did her bio. Then we blew up her environment, changed her clothes. She's like 12 years old now. And Caroline, who was what, 3 or 4, now she's like 5. She
Wow.
loves her job. Her job is to feed the birds. Every
Well,
day we got to make sure those bird feeders are full. And one day I said, well, let's put it on hold. I got some other. She was like, okay. But then the next day we were right back at it. So yeah, I mean, Sarge still wants my ass on the bike, and there's a lot of them want me to quit smoking. I'm like, okay, in time, we'll get there. But we got some higher priority stuff going on here. So they're like, okay. But they trust me as the CEO. That's the big thing.
and
And
the
the
reason
only reason I got that trust was because I listen to them, I record them, I acknowledge them, I
you're
make them a
dedicated,
part of
right?
the.
You ain't going anywhere. You're dedicated to the process.
Yeah, and they get it. Yeah, and there's no more cult member parts. They've all read the list and said, no, I'm out. I'm out. Even the ones that surfaced, what, 3, 4 days ago, that group of 4, instantly they're like, no, we're not with the cult. No. They're just, it's like automatically when they surfaced, they had already been through the list and made a choice. And I think that's what allowed them to surface. And plus interaction with the other parts in there. So whatever subconscious repressed stuff is left, they're already affected. They're already changed. I mean, I can't even remember Jonah's original name. I like I only know his new name now, and Fatima is now, oh geez, I can't remember. I'm so sorry, Fatima. Anyway, it's a lovely name and she loves it, but first I probably need to remember more of her stuff, and then, but yeah, so it's fun. I'm drawing you late. I don't know if you got someone waiting.
Well, no, but I do. I
Oh,
mean,
okay. Yeah, so if you want to.
but I wanted to go over a little bit more just because this
Oh,
is
okay.
good.
Yeah, yeah. It's Blue opened the doorway. She did all the steps at once, all of them. It's something about that, how or why we knew to do it and when we did it. It just made a huge difference. And with my videos of my journals, I'm like, I still have a book and a half to get through, which is probably 4 or 5 more videos or more. So I won't even get to the stuff that you and I started working on that we're talking about right now for like 3 months. It won't air for like 3 months. And I keep thinking, dang, you want to tell people about this stuff right now. But I feel like it would be jumping the gun.
Mhm.
So anyway, oh, and I talked to Melissa. I'll read this to you.
Oh, yeah.
Last night, she had a something going on. We were supposed to chat, but she got anyway. It says I got another call, which I am on now, but I wanted to write a text about Jon since I can't get off to talk right now. Jon rescheduled from today to Wednesday because he was making a response video regarding his daughter. She said, and I thought I might be running late, so it was partly to accommodate that possibility he asked to reschedule. I didn't really understand that. I am now thinking about rescheduling for down the road because the last couple of days I've had several people email with concerns about these allegations.
Oh, yes.
I've also had positive feedback, and even some people with concerns have enjoyed the interviews. Bottom line is that I can't afford to spend the time defending him. I've already spent almost 3 hours on various emails explaining the situation. I understand part of the point is to distract and detract, but it then becomes about the distraction instead of the topics of interest.
Right.
This whole drama, people are asking how he didn't recognize his wife's abuse or see the effects on the children. But you see what I'm saying? There are elements of the story which are she said, he said, which I can never verify. Therefore, I can't put people's concerns to rest. I
Right.
just don't want to bring a distraction to Alan's work. I
Mhm.
wish we were having a conversation about this, but tomorrow is busy until late in the day, and I would like your thoughts. So I was going to respond right away, and something said, no, wait, and chew on it. So I was about 15 minutes, and I totally shifted gears and did video work. And then all of a sudden, I knew the answer. And I said, my thoughts on the matter are this: I think you should pray about it and let God guide you. My first reaction was to say, fuck the bastards and continue on. But it is a distraction away from Alan's work. But I think that you should go the way that God wants you to go. Follow your heart and your conscience and don't be scared off. Love you lots and we'll talk soon. And then she sent me back a little prayer hands. But I don't know why she allows herself to get sucked into these hours long conversations with psychopaths.
Yeah.
And I want to say to her, Melissa, why don't you just respond, I acknowledge your comments and have a nice day.
There you go.
You don't have to say you're an idiot or an asshole or let me convince you. Just say, thank you for your response. I'm glad that you watched the channel and I wish you well. Or just say, acknowledge them and let it go. But she
Yeah.
just gets sucked into this shit.
This one's a very unique. I've never heard of a situation like this. So
I'm like, so
she'll have
she
me
wants
here.
to back. I hope she doesn't back off because God guided her to you in the first place.
Yeah. And and that's why I'm working so hard. I mean, I'm getting like, well, I didn't even sleep last night.
I know your emails come so late. My time, it's
I
like
literally,
late.
I went to sleep at 6, and then I'm just so agitated with it. So I'm working as hard as I can to get what'll be the first part, but I'm going to take this part, and I got an extended one. It's going to take me till October at this rate because these perps keep coming up with more stuff. So I know with the extended version, it's probably going to be 2.5 to 3 hours.
Oh, well,
Who's
it
who's
is what
gonna
it is.
who's gonna watch the extended one? It's gonna shut the antagonists, and for those that really have concerns, it's gonna be methodical. The one I'm working on now will probably be maybe 30 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
and
and
something else.
that's the one that my son did. So it's going to be very effective. So
Oh,
he
good,
did
good.
it on Father's Day. How
I'm
long?
just a little disappointed in her that,
Yeah.
but maybe her path is something else. I don't know. But
These
here's
perps are,
something that, well, here's something that got me about Chris was we were watching something. I don't remember what it was. He asked me to come there and watch something, and it was the Olympic thing about the trans thing. And I said, well, it doesn't surprise me that that's happening now. And I went into your video about the guy from South Dakota and how the laws are changing in half the states and it's spreading. And I said, so what Jon is doing is having an effect nationwide, right? So I said, of course, those people are going to come in droves and attack him. And said, yeah, and they're going to start coming for you. And I went, so? And he goes, well, guilt by association or attack by association. He said something like that. And I was like, and I was thinking, are you going to wimp out too? Because I'm not. I didn't say that, but I was like, I go, Chris, so what? And just gave me this look like, I don't know. He gives me this vibe, like back off vibe. And I'm like, no, I'm not. This is my path, and I'm like,
well, it's I appreciate you
if
sticking.
I get 2 views on video, then so be it. They're the 2 people God wants me to talk to,
That's right.
so, and that's what I wanted to say to Melissa was, look, I know you get like, I don't know, one video, I think one that I did got like a couple thousand views. And I want to say to her, well, if you lose 1,000 subscriptions or 1,000 views, who cares? It's not about those people. It's about the ones that stay. That's who you're talking to. And it was the same with Alan. He knew he wasn't out there to get everybody. He knew he was targeting a certain group of people. Then that those people, if they blew out of the water after a while because of something he may have said or not said, he didn't care. He just continued on. He's like, I'm here to reach the ones that I'm supposed to reach, period. And it's disappointing to me that Melissa's not in the same mindset. I can sense that her fear, I don't know if it's fear, but she's just getting sucked into these arguments.
She's crumbling from the perps, but
And I'm like, why are you even opening the door? It's not your job to fix them or convince them. If they want to hate Jon Uhler and unsubscribe from you, let them. Obviously, they're not on the right path. And that's not who you're trying to reach anyway. And maybe they'll unsubscribe and 2 months later see your response video and go, damn, Melissa was right after all, and subscribe again. But I feel like she's caving, but we'll see what she decides. I don't know.
well, it's I don't blame anybody, quite frankly, because it was very effective. I just well, thank you first of all for sharing that because it's important for me to know. But
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like she said it confidentially or whatever. And it was when I
and
asked her to send me the article, she's like, well, I don't think I should. And I'm like, why?
there's
I
6 of
said,
them.
nothing that they say is going to change my opinion
It's just
about Jon and the progress I've had with him. That's set in stone. I said, I'm just curious where the attacks are coming. I was blown away. Every piece of your life was attacked. And I'm like,
well, it's my daughter. My daughter handed them all this, but it's all
yeah,
twisted. So,
all of it, even the amount of hours you spent in a certain prison.
but in the big
How
video
can
that
you even have access to those
they
records?
don't, but in the big video, I'm taking every single point. So now
Good,
it's
yeah.
I've got a chalk. My little AI person, a coworker, is actually going to do the math for them. So it's very funny. Well, dang it, I have
Yeah, let you go. Yeah.
okay. Um, let me pray real fast.
Okay.
That's it. Lord, thank you. Thanks that Diana can and I can continue to work together, continue to oversee her work, continue to give them wisdom and insight as they continue to blaze this trail. So thank you so much for your hand upon her and the work that she's doing. In Jesus' name, amen.
And Jesus, please keep John, Susan, their family and home protected. Give them wisdom, strength, and courage, and keep them fighting for your purpose. Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Every night, you and Susan I ask God to protect you, and that we may be able to fulfill his purpose through us. So I guess I need to add Melissa in there. Just realized I'm forgetting about her.
Well, she'll feel better once the video comes out.
Yeah.
I had to have it done on Sunday, but it's obviously so. But it's getting there.
Yeah, all she has to do is just not acknowledge them. Say, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way. Have a nice day. Anyway, I'll let you go. Have a good, what is today? Friday. Have a good weekend.
What's this?
Is it Friday?
No. That's right. It's Tuesday. So we are meeting Friday.
No, we're Saturday because it got pushed a day.
Yes, we are. I've got the now.
Oh my God, I'm already at the end of the week.
Saturday. We'll meet
All
Saturday.
right. See you Saturday. Okay, bye.